Hi, I'm Wendy Gale, and welcome to Dementia's Blurred Lines. This one punched me right in the gut. I thought I was overwhelmed. I thought I was carrying too much. And then I saw two young mothers caring for their parents and their babies at the same time, and it stopped me in my tracks. I joined a few caregiving groups on TikTok recently. I thought I was stepping into a space filled with people around my age, people who had lived a little, raised their kids, enjoying their grandkids, and were now caregiving for aging parents. But instead, I found something I wasn't prepared for. I found a whole wave of young caregivers. I think they're called sandwich caregivers. Women in their 30s and early 40s, carrying a weight that feels far too heavy for the stage of their life. There are two women I follow now, two completely different personalities, two completely different ways of coping, and yet their stories hit me in the same place, right in the center of my chest. The first young woman, she's exhausted, and not the I need a nap kind of tired. It's the kind of exhaustion that settles in your bones. She has a baby, and she has a toddler, and she has aging parents who need her for everything. She loves them all. You can hear it in her voice, but she's stretched so thin that her only break, her only moment to breathe, is sitting in a car. Not a spa day, not a nap, not even a quiet room, just parked in a car in her driveway. And I watched her and thought, my God, I can't imagine doing that, doing what I did for my mom in my 30s or my 40s. And here she is, juggling two generations before she's even had a chance to catch her breath. Then there's the second young woman I follow. She's the opposite in energy, but the same in circumstances. She has a toddler too, and a little one, I think in grade school. Her days are chaos, but she tells her stories with humor, real humor, the kind that makes you laugh, even though you know she's coping through it. She has this grace about her, this ability to find something funny in the middle of the mess. And you can tell she's tired too, but she's surviving by turning the hard moments into something she can smile about. These two women couldn't be more different. One is raw and worn down, the other is light and funny. But underneath it all, they're living the same truth. Caregiving doesn't care how old you are. It doesn't wait until you're ready. It doesn't check your emotional bandwidth. It just arrives, and suddenly you're responsible for people who can't function without you. And I'll be honest, watching them stirred something in me I wasn't expecting. Because I've said out loud how unfair it's been for me. I've cried about it. I've complained about it. And I've said, why me? More times than I can count. And those feelings are real and they're valid. But watching these young women, it humbled me. It softened me. It made me rethink the weight of my own words. These women aren't kids. They're not in their 20s. They're grown in their 30s and maybe early 40s, with marriages, homes, husbands, toddlers, and school-age kids. And still, caregiving is swallowing them whole. And from where I'm sitting at 62, they feel so young, too young to be dealing with this, too young to be losing pieces of themselves to a role that demands everything and gives nothing back. Both of them have good husbands, supportive husbands, and yet that support, the load is too heavy. They're doing school drop-offs, wiping noses, packing lunches, managing tantrums, and turning around and caring for parents who need them for absolutely everything. They're living two lifetimes at once, the young mom life and the end-of-life caregiver role, and neither one gives them a break. And that realization hit me hard because I'm doing this at 62. With decades of life behind me, they're doing it while they're still building their lives, while they're still figuring out who they are as women, wives, as mothers, and as partners. They're still in the years where you're supposed to be growing, dreaming, becoming. Instead, they're managing dementia, medications, mobility issues, and emotional burnout. It made me want to reach through my screen and hug them, not because I pity them, but because I recognize this kind of strength, the kind of invisible courage, that kind of love that doesn't get celebrated, doesn't get applauded, and doesn't get seen. Caregiving tests you. It tests your patience, your identity, your sense of fairness. It tests the part of you that wants to scream, "Why me?" And sometimes the only answer is, because someone had to. And you were the one who stepped up. These two young women reminded me of something important. Caregiving doesn't look one way. It doesn't sound one way. It doesn't belong to one generation. But every caregiver, young or old, deserves to be seen, supported, and reminded that their exhaustion is real and their love is enough. This is episode 14, and this one is for the young caregivers who never expected to carry two generations at once, and for the older caregivers who finally understand just how heavy that load is really. Last year, I had a talk with my daughter. She's 42, and I asked her to please do not take care of me. Put me somewhere, because I'm not going to know the difference. I didn't want her, and I don't want her to have to deal with this, to see me in a different way, to see me as just a shell of a person with no memory, with just, yeah. So I had a talk with her, and she promised she would. If this is you in either role, you matter. Your hearts are huge, and your daily grind is noticed. Thank you for being here and for all you do. Until next time, please take care of yourself, and I'll talk to you soon.